Sorry. I got excited.
And we went live with the perfect 2 words, whoa, sorry. Thank you. That was perfect. It begins. Oh, man. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, and every one of the rest of you. My name is Kevin. This is Dirty 20 Gaming. These are many of my friends, more than I usually have here on any given night. And it's Saturday. And that's weird because I don't usually do stuff on Saturday, so that must mean this is something new. Watching everybody take nervous sips, I love it. It is something new. This is a Starfinder campaign, and I am really, really excited about this. I am and have been a huge sci-fi fan, and have been my whole adult reading life. I grew up on Asimov, Heinlein, Herbert, Gibson, Sterling, and now what I'm trying to do is pass that on to these people here, some of whom have some experience in that world, and some of whom have none. And also to anybody who happens to be watching. I hope you enjoy this as much as I enjoyed building it. And for any Star Trek fans out there, or science fiction fans in general, you are going to see all kinds of stuff that you recognize. So watch out for that. Anybody who's like, oh, there's one now. Yep. There we go. We've infringed a copyright already. Excellent. We're going to start tonight. You can see their names. You can see the character names on screen. So we're not going to introduce those just yet. We are instead going to introduce the players behind those characters. These are the people that, let me point out, are all very, very brave. None of them have ever played Starfinder before. When I, who have never run Starfinder before, said, hey, you want to be on a stream where you play Starfinder for the first time ever? They said yes. So they are all very, very brave, and I would like to take some time to introduce them and get them to tell you what they do when they're not here. So let's start. Let's just do it in order. Wayward Knight, playing Saga Steel for us tonight. When you're not here, what are you doing?
When I'm not here, I do a lot of things, but right now I make art and put it on the internet for people to buy. There's not a lot right now on Redbubble, but I am Wayward Knight on Redbubble. I have cool
Excellent.
stickers, and I'm making more.
Excellent. Good place to start with. You got now like 15 weeks to have more stuff to say every time. So we'll see. We'll get back to that.
Also.
Oh, yes, there's an also. I thought so. I thought there was a big also here, like a large also, a sort of a whole game thing that you do, sort of an also.
There is sort of a whole game thing that's actually been put on hold for a little bit because of life stuff. So I'll get back to you about that later. But
okay. What else?
I also write stuff for the Scarred Adventurer blog, which you'll find out more about in a minute
when we get to one of our others. Yes. So thank you for that. Next,
and I put art
playing Frederick Carpenter, our engineer, is Nick. Tell us a little bit about. I know you don't have a huge online presence, but you have like a real life instead. So tell us about that.
Well, I don't know how much of a real life it really counts, but I am full-time at university studying, studying computers and how the whole computer infrastructure works.
You're going to be the engineer and make me look like I don't know squat. I'm looking forward to this. Excellent. Thank you. Next down there, we have Roosbar, who that's how we're going to refer to him, so I don't have to have 2 Nicks in the room. Roosbar, tell us what you're doing when you're not here.
I am a Twitch affiliate. I do variety streams. Right now, a lot of Among Us and Hunt Showdown with a little bit of MechWarrior Online spread in there. Nice. That's what I'm up to.
Excellent. And that's at Roosbar on Twitch TV, of course, right?
Yeah. RUSPAR.
Yep. Yes. Next in the road there, way down at the end for me here. Actually, oh, by the way, I'm way down here at the bottom by the rolls where the Dungeon Master belongs. Thank you. All the players, the important people, they're in the good spots. playing Estrella for us, pardon me, playing Miranda Estrella for us. You only put the last name on it screwed me up. Playing Miranda for us, Sarah. You also go by Sans online. Tell us a bit about what
Yes. Uh,
you
on
actually do
Discord, I'm
stuff.
Sans. Yeah. I have my own YouTube channel. We do Let's Plays. We're going to start streaming once everything is set up.
Yep.
And I also write and direct my own films.
Nice.
And the first one is already up.
Excellent. So yes, get us a link to that, and we will absolutely post that in the chat here in Twitch, so everybody can see it. Sliding down to the bottom row, man, there's a lot of people in this game. Holy cow, what was I thinking? Scarred Adventurer, you and I have got a history. We go back almost 2 years over on another channel. Why don't you tell us a bit about that and some other foolishness that you do?
So one of the big things I do is I work with the Mercs of Mischief, which is the first thing I'm going to mention and talk about. I play Lucas Alexander Warcrest, the Law.
Yep.
Quite a fun character. I will be returning soon.
Yep.
Not tomorrow soon, but soon.
No.
And if you want to know more, then tough. Otherwise, what I want to talk to you about, aside from that, is the wonderful work that goes on at thescarredadventurer.com. There hasn't been anything that's gone up recently. I will be fixing that soon because I need content.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I'm really excited to have the amazing group of people I have. I have the lovely Robin Thunderscape 7 on. I have the wonderful Wayward Knight. I have Lasumax, who you may remember as Sam in the Deadlands game.
Yeah.
With his Deadlands stuff up on the blog as well. Sorry, just going through everyone in my brain.
Are you actually looking at your own blog right now to see what's on there? Is that what you're actually doing?
Oh no, I'm about to now. And the last person we have on is Faded Ruin, who's done some lovely,
Mariana Mystery.
They were poems or tongue twisters because they were all starting with the same letter, which was fantastically fun.
That set was fun to watch, fun to read.
Yeah. And the last thing I'm going to say about it is, of course, if anyone ever wants a new place to put content or enjoys doing stuff, please visit me at the contact section on the blog, contact us section on the blog, and send a raven or, email. It says raven on the blog. Just, do it. So thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Thank you. And last but definitely not least, only because he's the 6th officer in a 6-officer crew, Barsden, who I have to quickly mention before I let you talk. Before the session 0, you and I had never met. So we have like a 2-hour window where we've met each other, and you were really busy being competent and building character sheets at a great rate of speed. So we hardly know each other at all. So welcome to the game. And what do you do when you're not here?
Addicted to Among Us and Fall Guys currently. And
oh yes,
Rustbar is always suspect.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I can't help it.
I've known him for decades, and you're literally right.
Because he's a ginger.
Always.
Yeah. Other than that, it's just board games, video games, D&D, all the nerdy things.
Absolutely.
Yeah, graduate of college, trying to avoid the plague.
That's going to be the hashtag for this year, isn't it? So on that happy note, let's go play some game. We are, but first some more I's and T's. All the portraiture that you see in this game was made on Hero Forge Color. Just got released this week. They are so much fun to go and play with. I am not sponsored by them, but as you see, I drink more and more of this cup of coffee. You're going to see a sticker under here, which shows you that I do in fact support them, even though they're not paying me to do so. I also have already one pre-painted or pre-ordered colored mini thing too. So just I'm not getting paid to do this, but I loves me some Hero Forge, and so I used them to make these characters, and getting them painted this week was awesome. So thank them for that. We're using Roll20 as our tabletop simulator. The reason I mention that is because you are generally only going to get to see a little tiny bit of it, so you might not recognize it for the source that it's from. And we are going to be playing Starfinder, although as usual, anybody that knows me knows I have taken some liberties with it. I have made it much simpler than the rulebook typically does. Made it. Those of you who are not familiar with Starfinder, if you've seen D&D, you're going to recognize all of this. There's literally only a few words that are different. The systems are the same. You'll see as soon as we get started. One more thing that we're going to do with this show that we don't do with any of my other shows. This is the first time I'm going to try this. So if you're into this, show me by coming into chat and showing me. We are going to allow you, the viewing audience, if there's any of you there, to actually help these guys get through this adventure. So for bits, it's the only thing, it's the easiest way to do this. So for 100 bits, anybody that's viewing can buy a 1d6 roll for any one of these characters to add to a single roll during the game. For 200, you can buy a full flat-out reroll that any one of them can use. And if you really want to spoil them, if you think they're worth it, for slightly less than $10, for 500 bits, you can buy one of them, and you have to tell me which one. You can buy one of them a nat 20. So we're going to let that run. That is also, if somebody types exclamation point bits for dice into the Twitch chat, it will bring up those numbers so that you can see them. And we'll see also if one of you guys can keep an eye. I'm going to be busy running the game. So if one of you guys can watch chat and tell me if anybody does that, we will make sure you guys get the dice. But that's enough foolishness. It's already 20 past and we haven't even started yet. And these are going to be shorter shows than you're used to seeing. This is going to be like 90 minutes to 2 hours, one shot, bang, here we go. So having said that, it's time. Let's go through the wormhole to a distant time, but not a distant place, as we enter the world of Practicum, a Starfinder adventure. In all the multiversal locations, out of all of them, the one that these people find themselves in, humans have not yet encountered alien life beyond the most primitive bacteriological level. And due to a strange unknown event, 320 years ago, the world's basically restarted. Because everybody woke up one morning with truncated memories. They remembered their spouses, they remembered their partners, they remembered skills that they'd had before, but they didn't remember meeting those people or gaining those skills or what jobs they had where they used them. No one knows what happened, and no one has ever discovered what happened. And it was catastrophic socially, to put it mildly. But now, 16 generations later, it feels kind of distant and unimportant. There's bigger things on your plate. But the 6 cadets you see before you now, they are the best of the best. There were over 1,000 candidates this year at the Academy, and these 6 have been chosen to crew the experimental Corvette-class starship called the Stingray after graduation. And that is in 3 weeks' time. But until then, it's more time in the simulator. You've never actually worked together before. Most of your training has been in the virtual world. So this is the first time, and for the first time, the 6 of you walk into the simulator box and see each other. So I know we've got pictures, but I want to go around the table and give us a quick description, just physically what they look like as they walk in and take their seats. But first, I want a quick explanation here. These people all have titles on this ship. They have functions on this ship. And one of those functions is captain. But it is only a job title. You guys all have the same rank. this point, that rank is cadet. After you graduate, you'll all be lieutenants. Technically, the ship outranks all of you. This is to prevent anybody from being overly heroic and driving the ship ramming speed into the side of another ship and destroying $1 trillion worth of equipment. So that's there. But as you move in and sitting down in that captain's seat, Sega Steel, what do we see?
You see a very confident redhead with her hair neatly plaited or braided down her back, and one of those, stringless sci-fi eye patches
Yep.
over her right eye. She kind of smirks as she surveys her
All the time?
domain. All the time. All the time.
Kind of a
She's
smirk.
got,
Kind of,
she's got, I don't want to say a bit of an attitude, but she's got spunk.
but she does, so you'll say it. Yeah, she's got a bit of a
Mhm.
dude. There's nothing wrong with that. You are in the top 6 of over 1,000 candidates. It's okay to pull a little dude. So that's who settles into the captain's chair. This bridge is very small. This ship is very small. The one that you're going to be flying in, the Stingray. Only 5 feet away from you, 2 meters on either side, sit the gunner and the engineer. First, we'll go to the engineer, Frederick. As you settle into your station and run the last checks on the sim, what do we see?
He's sitting down. He's a little nervous, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
He's nervous. He's sitting there, probably looking across the systems, looking down at his right, where you see
Mm-hmm.
probably want to say it's not a small. It's probably about a medium-sized like robot with some wheels on it.
Right? It's zipping around and helping him out, clearly.
It's definitely one of those. If you're not looking at it, it's really kind of hard to tell where it is until it's like you're nearly tripping over it a few times.
Right. You've managed to robotize a cat. That is really interesting. On the other side sits our gunner, a hulking behemoth who, in case there was any worries about that, has his name is Moose. Moose, what do we see perched on this chair?
I'd say a hulking behemoth is definitely an accurate description of this man. The left side of his head is shaved. The rest kind of flowing over, black hair, piercing blue eyes, very broad gentleman, but you can tell none of it is fat. It is all muscle. He's got the weightlifter's grimace. Everything about this man just says dangerous. Don't want to meet this guy on the wrong side of an alley.
Absolutely, yeah. And I think it's fair to say that looking at him, if you walk past behind him, you'd see he doesn't have them on right now, but there are sort of worn places on his armor where the rifles and various weaponries and belts full of bandoliers and stuff sit.
Yeah, it's definitely not brand new. It's seen some it's seen some use, but otherwise in very, very good condition.
Absolutely. So yeah, and each of you, as you guys can see in the images, each of you has a different color pattern as well. So continuing, the next 2 seats are our science officer and our doctor. We're going to get to the pilot last. So, science officer Asimov, what do they see when they look at Simon?
When they look at Simon, they see kind of a carefree, cocky sort of guy with bright blue hair, blue eyebrows, even somehow bluish stubble.
That's expensive, that shit.
Yes, that is how. And he's just kind of kicking back, taking things in as they come, and just getting ready for what's coming next.
Excellent. And right across from Simon sits our doctor. You've got more of an area than a console. Like the rest of them are sort of sitting at computer consoles tapping up. You've got a booth full of like a mini bar full of stuff that I assume you're checking on at the last minute. As you do so, what do the rest of them see?
So the doctor is kind of a weathered older man. He's probably the oldest person in the crew. Probably his late 30s, maybe early 40s even. He has like a wavy black hair with lots of streaks of gray in it.
Yeah.
He's quite small actually in stature. He's slim. His skin is deeply tanned, and it looks like he's probably been outside for most of his life.
Right.
He has a pair of glasses that seem to almost be falling off of his face at all times.
Yeah.
He has many smile lines. He seems to be very cheery, but he has something of a distaste for the corporation that we work for.
Yeah.
You'll learn that very quickly. Uh,
All right. Yeah.
but he's generally kind of disheveled, and he's actually been reprimanded because of such. He's just
Yeah.
kind of like scruffy.
He somehow manages to make a uniform that has permaclean look dirty. Yeah.
Yeah. A little grit around the edges.
Which leaves us right at the front of the bridge with our pilot. What do we see sitting in the seat?
So Miranda is lighter brown hair, almost blonde, with bright blue eyes. And she's very thin. She is pale because she probably has never seen the outside. She's very obviously been a student. Like, this looks like she just put this on this morning. This is the first time ever.
Yeah, you still see the creases. Yeah, even though you've been here 4 years. Yeah.
And she has her book, the books she was allowed to bring, she brought with her.
It's on the bridge. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Tucked into a little belt. Oh, I love it. So, with that, the 6 of you busy yourselves at your tasks and make sure that you're ready. Even though this is a simulation, you know you're judged on every moment from the second that it starts until the second that it ends. And a yellow light appears in the center of the room, hovering like a hologram. And you hear a voice. Stare Nomos Academia Simulation 146, Variant B.7 times 4, commencing in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The light goes green. And for the first time, you guys experience something you've only heard of. This is an experimental ship, and one of the experimental features on this ship is this bridge that you sit in. It doesn't have a view screen because it's not actually on the outside of the ship, because that would be dangerous. That would be a really dumb place to put it. It could get blown up. It's deep in the heart of the ship, but every wall and every surface is a screen. So as the simulation engages, the ship around you disappears and is shown only in the lightest pale blue wireframe. And you sit exposed to the universe. Every direction you can see. You look down between your feet. You can see through the chairs you're sitting on. Galaxies, stars, clusters. The planets, and a series of planets fairly near to you. And behind you, your home for the last 4 years, the Academia. This is a clear sphere with a disk across the center. And because there is created gravity, there's buildings on both sides. From where you sit right now, the top looks like a city. It's where the university is. It's where all the grounds are. The bottom is where all the ships and the shipyards and buildings are. And as you turn around, science officer, you reach to start doing the first thing you would do, which would be to scan the area. And I need you reach for the button, and just as you touch it, there's a shudder. Everything goes black, and the whole simulated you're in tips forward and starts to slam towards the ground. I need a reflex save from everybody. 15 for Moose.
Just the
13.
dexterity.
This is the equivalent of a dexterity. It's actually a reflex save. It's on the right-hand side, about 2/3 of the way down your saves. There's 3
Okay.
of them.
Oh, there it is.
Fortitude, reflex, yeah. For those of you that are used to Dungeons and Dragons, this is essentially the same as a dex save.
Ow.
Holy cow. Okay, so Moose, you are all right. Miranda, you just barely grabbed the counter. Frederick is fine. Doctor, not so much. Captain, really bad. And Science Officer is fine. So, Miranda, you reach, this starts to happen. You go to put your hands on the console in front of you without realizing it's part of the projection, and your hands sort of go right through it, and you fall to your hands and knees. You don't take damage, but you're out of your chair and on the floor as the whole capsule continues to fall forwards.
No.
Doctor, you slam against the door of your fridge full of stuff, grab it and kind of spin open. You realize you're going to pull the door off of this if you don't let go. So you take the thump yourself and kind of slide into the wall, use your foot to hold everything shut. You don't take damage either, but you're definitely on your back. Captain, you know how they tell you not to put stuff on the back deck of your car? Because when you hit the brakes, yeah, you were not belted in. I need you to take, it was not going to be much, but it's going to be the first damage of the game.
Good.
4 points of SP, your stamina points, which is a great time for me to explain how these work. Stamina points are like it just missed you and it kind of knocked you off guard, or it hit you but your armor absorbed it. It doesn't do physical damage. It's what happens to you before you start to take physical damage. So anytime I tell you take damage, take stamina points first until they get to 0, then get into hit points. So you take 4 points as you tumble forward, and it's impossible to land properly because you can't see the floor because it's completely black in here right now. I'm getting the stink eye already. Look at that.
Can I try to land gracefully?
That was the reflex save. Was you trying to land gracefully?
And
It's
I
all
did.
right though because your crash is nothing compared to the engineer. He goes to correct himself, steps on his own robot. Or was that your robot?
That was the robot's role.
Okay, so right, you made it, yeah. So yeah, you you brace yourself on the robot, and in the process, kick your robot across the room into the wall beside the captain. I'm not gonna kill your robot in the very first action of this game. So it slams into the captain. She wonderfully breaks the fall of your robot.
Ow.
The whole capsule slams to the ground outside. You can feel it just. And it is absolutely pitch black in here. You know where the emergency exit is, and there should be a light. What's everybody doing? There isn't
I
a light.
am deflecting blame.
No!
Oh,
No!
I am.
No! You get the blame.
I am.
Look, I didn't even
serious
touch the thing. It just
No,
went
you
off.
literally, your finger did not get to the button.
It's amateur hour in here.
Everything is fine.
Uh.
I just didn't do anything. It just all went to shit.
I lift up my eye patch so that my cyber eye can give him the stink eye.
So you guys, one of you is going to reach for the door, I assume, to get us out of here.
Yeah, I'll get up.
Um,
Get up
is
over the
everything-
door.
Yeah, you guys.
Everything like
One
in
of you
here?
reaches over and grabs it and shoves the door open, and it's quite a thick door. But you realize it was one of the reasons it's that thick is because it was soundproofed. As you push it open, you hear the creaking and straining of overwrought metal, snapping of huge beams, cracks of explosions, and the whoosh of fire. kind of hard to tell because you're still inside this sort of think of it as a small hangar with the a pod with the simulator up on top of it. So it's still dark in here, but you can hear all around you. This base is either under attack or it's coming apart. As if to drive that home to you, you hear battle stations, battle stations. This is not a drill. And you realize that the station is shaking under your feet. This is not a drill.
And I'm out the door.
As you tumble out into the room, you know your places. They're on the ship, on the experimental Stingray, the one that you were just about to start training to learn how to fly. That's quite a distance from here. You have to go along, you're on the top half of the disc right now. You have to go partway along it and then down an elevator to the bottom where the ships are kept.
Well, they don't say anything like, they say no training's like on the job training.
There's a reason this is called Practicum. You guys slam the doors of this room open into the hall and look, and there are people running everywhere. Most of them look like they know where they're going. Most of them are pulling on gear, firefighting gear, or whatever gear that they're supposed to be wearing and heading in the right direction. Some people look like they're just panicking.
I'd like to.
There's a weird ripple through the gravity field that increases and then decreases, and then the whole place starts to shift. Creak, creak. What are you guys doing?
I'm gonna be like,
I'm gonna
this
start
place is
running
about to be the
towards the
Titanic.
ship.
We gotta get to the ship now.
Yes. You're gone.
I'm
Frederick?
making best time.
Make
Yep.
a run for it.
You guys are all just bolting. Excellent. So you guys drive through the door out into this crowd of people. The first thing you need to do is start weaving through these people. Everybody give me an acrobatics check, please. That's
It's
not
been.
good. That's also not good. That's excellent.
Wait. Did I not do it?
Hey.
I don't need to make my way around.
It was
anybody.
nice knowing you.
I was just gonna say the one. Yeah. Everybody on this ship or on this station, this space station, is expecting to weave. Moose don't weave. You still get where you're going because you're full blown, and I'm assuming in this situation you probably engage the armor as well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so the way your guys' suits work is it just looks like heavy duty clothing most of the time, but at a moment's notice and by just an act of your will, you can cause those armor plates to pop out like they look like in the video or in the footage. So he's fully armored up and just knocking people left and right. Behind him, Simon is vaulting over the fallen like hurdles. Frederick is moving down the hall like it's not tilting, like there's nobody there. He's just going. The robot's skittering along behind him. Saga, as if to make up for your previous experience, is completely in control. Dr. Howard's in control, and Miranda. Well, you know it's not a one. You and well, you start to try and make your move, and like nobody will respect you and like move out of the way. And then Moose just goes through. And you're, well, I'll just like get in behind him, and you basically start drafting Moose down the hall. So,
No
you guys are
one's gonna
sprinting
know.
along. Ahead of you, about between you and the next set of doors, a huge metal beam comes crashing through the roof and covers about half the hallway ahead of you.
I dive over it.
You've got moments to decide what to do. You can give me an acrobatics check if you want to try and get around it or over it, or you can give me an athletics check if you want to try and move it or pull yourself through.
I'm gonna do an acrobat.
I'm gonna go athletics. See if I can like slide under this thing.
I'm going to do something crazy, which is going to be, I'm going to click a little. I'm going to because the artificial gravity is something that works both. I'm assuming the artificial gravity is something that works both with the clothing that we're wearing as well as the ship itself. Otherwise, the ship being under attack would cause the artificial gravity to go out of sync, right?
It hasn't gone out yet, but frankly, you as a science officer are expecting it to at any moment.
Okay. I am going to, understanding that it's going to go off at any moment,
Yeah.
basically try to climb over top of run up the side of the thing that has just
Yeah.
fallen off,
Yeah.
and then somersault over top of it.
Okay. Yeah. Give me. Yeah. Absolutely. That's definitely athletics.
Acrobatics.
Acrobatics. Yes, that's what I meant. That was Miranda's. So we start here. Moose. Yeah. You.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm not worried.
Back a bit. Yeah.
Hold it.
Moose. You. Pull yourself through. You. I don't know where you're trying to pull the. If you were trying to pull the beam, it doesn't go. But you managed to pull yourself through a gap.
Yeah.
Miranda, yeah, you same idea. You guys kind of go on either side of this big bar. Yeah, Saga runs up it and barrel rolls over. Frederick, yeah, again, like watching water flow downhill. Same thing for Simon. Yeah, the flip, yeah, beautiful because you picked a ridiculously difficult thing and then rolled a 25. And Doctor, considerably less graceful but equally effective. You make it past this as well. So you look back behind you and there's other people already showing up trying to fix things. Visitor trying to fix things, and that they probably never made it into the shot. So trying to fix stuff behind you, and you guys get to the elevator and start to drop down. As you do, the bottom just the elevator starts to free fall. I need reflex saves again, or I like choices. Reflex saves or a fortitude save when you get to the bottom.
Oh, wait. Let me do the other one. Okay.
Let me do the other one. You can't do one and then the other. That's not allowed.
No, I didn't click on reflex. I almost
Okay.
did. I was like, no.
Moose, yeah, you didn't do well. Doctor did. You kind of brace yourself on the wall and maybe on Moose a little bit. So when you land, you kind of you absorb the impact with your flexibility. Miranda, yeah, easy. You do that impossible thing where you jump just before the elevator hits, and I know it doesn't work, but it works. So never mind. In this instance, it works because we're telling a story. Simon, not so much. Wayward, yes. Saga's fine, and Frederick, not so much. So Frederick and Moose, you guys each take 2 points of damage from the fall at the bottom, because there are obviously safety features built into this, but it's still a sudden deceleration at the bottom. You guys slam out the door of the elevator into the hangar. This is a huge space. And as you look around, an explosion, and then another, and another, down this side. And you look at all the major capital warships that are in here start to burst and crash into flames. You look ahead of you, and the little cubby that the Corvette, the Stingray is in, is as of yet untouched.
I think it's time to abandon ship.
As the doctor says that, he has to reach out and put his hand on the wall because another 5 or 10 degrees of list is coming into this spaceship.
It's time to board the ship.
You hear a horrible sound, a sound you hoped you'd never hear except in training. You hear the hiss of escaping atmosphere. The dome is breached.
I'm going to turn to the rest of my crewmates and be like, well, ladies and gents, I think this is our cue to leave.
I'm already out the door heading, like I'm running. I'm not waiting for any speeches. Let's go.
Absolutely.
I'm moving
So
and I'm
you
just
get-
going, I have so many urges to be so sarcastic right now.
On the way.
Running sarcastically towards the ship.
Can I pull any ship data from the exploding ship? To see
Absolutely.
if it's, sabotage?
Give me a computer
Computing?
check while you try and
Computing
get
check.
some information.
Come on.
14. You very quickly gather that this is not a series of explosions. This is an attack, and Give me an engineering check on top of this. This is suspicious. So give me an engineering check. 13. That's enough to figure out some of this had to be an inside job.
Is there? Do we have like personal computers or I don't know,
Yes,
like
on your
data
wrists. Absolutely.
pads type things?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Can I attempt to as we're running? Can I attempt to remotely start the ship?
You certainly can make an attempt. Yeah. Give me a computer check.
Okay. I
13.
rolled
You failed to do so, but not because you lack the skills. It's because it's not on the menu.
Oh,
Your ship isn't there as an option. It should be, but it isn't.
does that make sense considering it's like a prototype?
That's what you're thinking until you get closer and you guys get to the point where you can actually see the ship. And you see that there's still scaffolding along one side. The main hatch is open and there's power cables coming from conduits in the main ship going into the Stingray. There's panels that are open in the hallways that have wiring that's not finished. There's even a little half-assed table built over 2 sawhorses with a couple half-empty coffee cups.
What are we gonna do with this? Its guts are all spilt out everywhere, and the doctor's just like,
Yep.
I mean, it's our only way out right now.
I don't.
Engineers,
Can I
science
fly
get
officers,
into the ship?
pilots, yeah.
Can I
You
fly
guys know
this?
the layout. You guys know the layout. It's a short hallway to get to the actual bridge where all the computers are. Or you can try and access stuff. Now that you're inside it, you could try through your comms pads again. Or through a
I'm
wall. There's a
getting into
display
it.
right there. Engineer and science officer, there's a display right there inside the front doors as well. It's just blank.
I'm just getting to my station and firing everything up, or trying to fire
You
everything
run to the
up.
front and start to do that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Let
I'm
me have
gonna-
the science
Same.
officer.
I'm gonna try and fire it up.
Okay, science officer, give me a, as you guys are heading towards the bridge, give me a computer check, and engineer, give me an engineering check. 13. There's a lot of 13s.
Yeah.
13 and a 19 for that. Okay, the engineering check makes sense. You slap your code into the screen, and nothing happens.
I'm
You back
staying,
off a second, you hit like the 00001 code, like the override code, and what comes up isn't a pretty UI. It's a little flashing light. It says boot question mark.
That's a yes from me.
And boom,
Yeah.
and the whole system. Yep. Computer guy. Yep. Science officer. What are you doing?
Yes. It just says boot. And
Yeah.
I type in, yes, please boot, you dumbass.
the doctor's gonna stay outside, and he's
Okay.
frantically trying to figure out what stuff he has to pull off the ship, and what stuff he has to try and tack onto the
Perfect.
skin of the ship.
I love it.
Doctor,
So you hit boot and systems start coming to life all around you. You guys now understand what's happening. This is a cold start. This thing has never run before. It's not finished. You don't know what does and doesn't work as you run into the bridge. You each drop into your seats. I need each of you to give me a test at your particular skill to see if you can get the system up and running. So I'm going to do them in order this time so I don't have to scroll through 100 things, different things. Let's start with the captain, because your job is getting the main ship's, I almost said AI, and that's not quite right. They're an enhanced intelligence. These are character traits taken from real people and laid over a machine intelligence to make it more palatable. So it's not truly an AI, but your job is to get it fired up. And the thing with the ship's computer is once it's fired up, it can help 3 people every round to do something. So this is why we're getting to you first. If you can get it fired up, 3 of these people can get help firing their systems up.
Okay.
So, Capitan, give me a computer check, please.
Okie doke.
A 23. You get in there and The smirk recognition software immediately recognizes you. I'm joking, but you just bah, 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 and just cold and bold and just override everything. You tell the computer all the safety checks have been passed. Move on. And while it was like slowly trying to plod through hundreds and hundreds of safety things, is the first time it's fired up ever. So you hammer the override button and boom. So now three of you, and each you decide amongst yourselves, get to add +2 to whatever you roll because now the computer is up and helping you. So I think this makes sense. You two were the last three in because you're still outside. So Gunner, you were the first one. Moose, you slam down into your seat because the system isn't wound up right now. This is just like you're in basically a green room sitting in front of a real console. You start to fire up the system. So give me, in your case, it's a piloting skill.
Yeah.
15 is enough. It doesn't require the assistance. You just, the gun systems start to come up. The only real problem that you can detect is that normally the two forward-facing weapons on this ship are tied together. Even though they have different ranges, you can fire them as one. That is not the case right now. They are separate weapons, so you can fire one or the other, but not both.
Okay.
Next, now there's 3 people left to make tests, and there are 3 computers, so all 3 of you can have +2. Let's start with piloting. Let's see if you can get the helm to come up. So whatever you roll, +2. Oh, you might be afraid, you might be worried, but you sit in this seat, and this is home. This is where you're supposed to be, and you come up with the same trick that the captain did. All tests passed. Continue, and it just skips all of it, and your maps come up, your 3D world comes up. There's a kind of a heads-up display that allows you to start making sure the system is okay. What you discover, there's an error message that pops up, and it says, engine power mode, training. And you kind of visually, all you have to do is look at it and blink. It's that kind of system, and it opens up a file, and it shows you that your current speed, you know from training, the current speed of this, or the real speed of this ship should be, we just use numbers, right? 6, and right now it's only 4. And you click again, like why? And it pops up. The engine is missing some key components and is not able to operate at full speed.
Hmm.
Those components are something you could get in the future, but you do not have them right now. As you're figuring out that, the last 2 that were inside slam into your chairs. Engineering. Give me computers +2. Oh, it made me wait for that. And the first, yeah, the first 20 of the night, and it's a skill focus. So yeah, you're just slammed down on your seat. Like, what kind of an asshole doesn't like have a fast start button on this ship? And in a matter of seconds, you have reprogrammed the computer to have a fast start button. And technically, we can add 2 to that and make it a 33. The other ones, as you drop into your seat, Simon, you go, oh, and it lights up in front of you, all ready to go.
Reprogram it slightly.
Yeah,
Do I have to do anything here now?
no, you don't. You can actually start if you want. You can actually start to use the system if you wanted to try and scan the area and see what's going on in the, or contact the base or whatever. You have an action that has been freed up by his exceptional success.
Yeah, I am going to start doing stuff for scanning.
Yeah, just give me a computer check, and we're gonna add 4 for the sensors. Yeah, another over 30. You discover a whole bunch of things. This place is under an active attack by a destroyer class vessel. It is way out of your league. Destroyer class is like 5 times the size of the Stingray that you guys are in. It is actively attacking the dome above you. There are also explosions going off inside the dome that could only be from preset explosions. At the moment, the command center is not responding, and you are getting failure message after failure message after failure message about the stability of this station. It's got maybe an hour left.
Yeah,
And
I
then
got it. I
It
understand.
goes another couple degrees.
Shut up. Ah, come on.
Yeah. Meanwhile,
Oh, by the way,
outside.
we've got a giant ship. We should leave. Don't
Meanwhile,
Well,
don't
outside, the
stay to help.
doctor.
I'm
Just we should
trying.
leave.
You're just
Where is the
throwing,
Where's the
doctor?
getting the scaffolding away and trying to unplug shit. And the ship is now, you realize right away, is under its own power. So you can unplug that big conduit right away and get the
Yeah.
door closed at least. It's easy to do. I mean, it only makes sense to put scaffolding on wheels 1,000 years from now or now. It still makes sense. So you kick the
Mother
locks and just shove
scaffolding.
the scaffolding away, run inside, hit the button, and poof, the door slams in front of you.
As the captain, I'm going to get on the comm system and be like, ladies and gentlemen, we need all butts and seats for immediate takeoff.
Everybody is
Waiting
in
for
the
them
room
to
with
get a
you
seat.
already, except for the doctor, and you know he's in the ship. Pilot.
That's why I
Yes.
use the comms.
We have
Yeah.
one bad thing, and this is Miranda making sure to tell everyone. We don't have full power to fly.
We can fly, right?
We can fly. It just won't
Okay.
be as fast as it could be.
Well, then we fly smart, not fast.
Speaking
I
of,
agree with science.
you
doctor
guys
runs it.
all realize you remember this particular speech from class. In this situation, you look and you are no longer connected to the station. You can't ask them to open the doors to get out. You know there's a way. There's an emergency override on every ship that will blow the airlock doors physically off of this space station.
I do it.
Wait a minute.
Or how many people are still out there?
That's one
Yeah.
question. Wait a minute.
Well, here's the thing. In this section right now, nobody on this half. But if this is done, you remember the speech, because if this is done, this requires a rebuild of this section of the station. I'm not saying you're not going to do it. I just, as you're reaching for the button, you remember how many trillions of dollars it's going to cost to repair this, and for just a split second, you're like, "Is this real?" Because I'm about
All the ships have exploded
and-
anyway.
Yep.
If you don't pop that door, I'm gonna shoot it open. Let's go.
It's not our money.
Literally, so Saga is used to being in charge under pressure at least a little bit, and she's just like, we got to do it. Bam.
Bam! It hits the button and these giant
Gotta make hard
transparent
calls.
doors blow off the airlock. The ship is actually pulled slightly towards the hole by the rush of air as it rushes out this hole. At this point, piloting check, please. That is an exceptional piloting check. As you just use that suction to draw the ship out of the bottom of the space station. As you do, you see the glinting of the suns as these glass, not glass, but clear doors blow off into the distance from the explosion. As you leave the station, the system engages. And this time it's not like, wow, look, space. This time I'm assuming it feels a bit more like, ooh, because you can see everything around you. As you look behind you, this huge sphere is coming apart. Shards of it are breaking away, and clouds of air from inside, pieces of building and debris, are shattering off and spinning off into space. There's fires, disasters all around. You're probably glad you can't hear what's going on in there. You are the
Doctor's just like-
only... Yeah.
Sorry.
No, interrupt me anytime. That's one of my rules. I am
Okay.
I am ultimately interruptible. So yes, I talk too much.
The doctor
What
is
is-
just
yeah.
like, I hate the company, but a lot of people just lost their lives, I think.
This is actually a very good idea. Let's go around. What is in that moment? What is each of you thinking? This has been your home for 4 years.
Saga is. She understands that there's been a terrible loss, but she's known loss, and from her past has sort of been trained to not care about
So
it,
you just
and she
drop
knows
the
that
wall.
that's
Yeah.
she knows that that's bad,
Yep.
but she's
But it
still
works.
kind of sociopath.
So you kind of pull your eyes away and continue to function. Frederick, you as an engineer can see this is failing. It's already too late. There is no saving this platform.
He's probably sitting there kind of he probably looks for a moment at all the destruction before kind of the reality of this ship that has literally just been, that thankfully is just done enough not to kill them when going into the vacuum of space, is still not exactly all the way together.
Yes.
So that's probably the first problem, is keeping me from dying, and then I will worry about them in a hot second.
Absolutely. And in the process of doing that, you scan your screen, and what you do realize on the good news department, this ship has full shields, and its hull is intact and fully built. So that at least, and all the life support functions are functioning. Gunner.
I have something to kill.
Moose, yes. We'll get, actually, let's come back to you at the end because I haven't described what's out here yet with you. So you're just like, yeah, that's not what I shoot. The stuff I shoot is over here, and you turn back and start processing. Science officer. Simon, you see this.
The loss of carbon-based life forms is always a downside, but we soldier on.
And as usual, you just sarcasm from one end to the other. That's his coping mechanism, sarcasm. So
yes, that was sarcasm.
Pilot. From your
Looks like
point
we
of
have
view,
2 sociopaths.
Sociopath? No. I just lack empathy. Did I say that out loud?
Pilot.
Oh,
Miranda.
yeah. This is the first. Yeah, this is the first time for Miranda that it's kind of hit.
This is not
So I think, she's more in shock than probably anyone else, and probably not handling it the best. But she knows she has a job to do, and that's kind of all that's keeping her together at the moment. Is
perfect.
I just have to fly this.
Yep.
I will handle it some other time.
Absolutely. Which takes us back to our gunner, Moose. It's like, nope, that's not what I shoot. Your eyes flick up the other way, so you're the first one to see. As the others kind of break their thinking about that and come back to reality, they catch up to what you've already seen.
I'm a soldier. I'm no stranger to loss. I know there's a time and a place, and this isn't it.
So you look around, and scattering from this space station, there's over 100 shuttles, just like quick flight shuttles, that are heading to nearby planets, and you know they'll make it. But there's a group of 30 or 40 which are lifting almost like a group, and they're heading towards that destroyer, which is kind of pulled off to a standoff distance. This is kind of a weird way to use it, but I want you to use the gunnery. Let's do that. Give me a computer check.
Okay.
That's kind of your fallback. Okay.
Oh, no.
Could be worse.
That's all right.
I don't know
That's
if
actually
two
not the one
computers-
I meant piloting, which is the one that your gunnery is based on. So sorry about that. Give me piloting.
There
That's
we
better.
go.
Yeah. You realize that you can take out a lot of these shuttles. That's going to be easy. That destroyer outranges you and outguns you. But with that roll, there's a weird thing about this destroyer. The main heavy guns, the 2 turrets on the top, are both not active. They're not tracking. Now, don't get me wrong. The weaponry that's left will still blow you out of the water in a hot second. But the big guns on it are not functioning. You also notice as you're watching the small guns tracking, they're not being utilized very well. In your professional opinion, it would still be suicidal to go against this destroyer, but you have a chance, if the pilot will help you, to get close enough to take out some of these shuttles. They are, however, unarmed and unarmored. As a combat situation, you are technically in control.
So these are shuttles coming from this destroyer.
No, these are shuttles that have left the station. Like
Okay.
there's about 100 shuttles left the station. Like 60 of them are spreading
Oh, okay,
randomly to
and they're
other
heading-
locations.
Okay,
These
and they're
ones are
heading.
rising up to that destroyer. These are the inside job
Okay.
people,
Yep.
apparently.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be quite obvious then.
Yeah.
I'm not above that kind of petty stuff, and I'm going to target some of them.
Yep.
Get me in range of that.
You get if the pilot, he has asked you to get him within range. We're not going to go to a map right now. This bit we're just going to theater of the mind this little first part. So he's asked you to move in closer.
She's still in shock, so she's just like, oh, okay.
Yeah, and
Just
follow and so yeah.
Full autopilot, like
this
I
is
don't.
just a straight move. Yeah. We don't need a roll for any of this. Only if you're ever doing stunts.
The doctor's
As you
just
scan
like,
closer, yeah.
what are we doing? Shouldn't we be leaving?
Yeah, I disagree with this entire conceptual
What?
doing.
What are
of
we doing?
things.
I was just told to move the ship.
If anything, we should go back to where it's broken apart. There might be survivors that we could get to.
No,
Shouldn't
we
that
should
be-
There's nothing left there.
We should leave.
Do I move the ship or not?
Yes, in the opposite direction.
It's your call, pilot. But
Someone, please, just tell me what to do.
Captain,
Do I move it?
Veer away.
Okay.
You veer away.
Okay.
Gunner, fingers twitching on the controls. But as you're just about to say something, science officer, there's 2 flashes on your screen. You do not need to make a roll for this. This is a big burst of energy coming from the destroyer. What it is, you know this signature. It's just released 2 interceptor class ships. Because of the way this works, as soon as they pop away from the vessel, they become invisible to you at this range.
Hey, Moose? Yeah, we might get that fun. You might get that fun shooting at things thing after all. We have interceptor class vessels coming after us
Oh, for
too.
And I
it's
just
just
dropped you guys
2.
onto the map right now, and for the first time, we're going to get to show the combat screen to our viewers. There it is, everybody in a nice circle around the outside. And the screen in the middle. I want to do a couple things here. One thing I want to do is, you guys can see these ranges. In Starfinder, ranges are actually 5, 10, and 20 for short, medium, and long. But that makes for really big maps. So I shrunk those to 2, 5, and 10. And because I can only do 2 auras on roll 20, the 2 you'll have to count. 2 spaces from your ship. The 5 is the inner aura, and the 10 is the outer aura. You guys should be able to see those and the ship.
Yep.
Pilot of the ship. On the token for the ship, there's a little white dot on the frame. If you see it on the bottom right-hand corner, that's the way the token is facing. Because turning matters.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and then you guys can also see your own little figures across the top. That is because we are about to, for the first time, start using the actual ship sheet. But first, there is something I want to show the audience very quickly. This is what you are going to be able to see when I show you the screen. But this is all that they can actually see on the ship. They cannot see beyond that range of 10 spaces. So you guys are watching my screen, so you get to see some stuff that they don't know is there. So with that, we start our very first actual starship combat. Doing this happens in 3 phases. The captain, you're kind of an odd duck in this because you can go in any phase, and you can do a couple of things. You can encourage somebody and give them, you make a die roll, and it's fairly easy to do. It's only a DC 10 at the skill that they're using, and that would allow you to give them +2 on their roll. Or you can assist them, which is a harder roll. It's a DC 15, it's a 21 is what it boils down to for this ship, and that would allow you to give them +4. So you can go in any one of these turns. So interrupt me at any time to tell me which one of these people you want to help. The turn order is engineering goes first, then helm, then gunnery. So starting in engineering, I am going to, before we start, if you guys would like to open up the actual Stingray sheet, the actual ship sheet, because you guys are going to roll on the sheet for the most part, except for our gunner for weird reasons that I'll get into. But the audience can now see the sheet, and I'm just going to go through it from top to bottom here and quickly go over the sheet and what it does. Over on the left-hand side, name, tier, class, and all of that stuff. It doesn't really, not really important. What's important is that this ship has a shields of 60. So at the moment, it has 15 shields in the front, the sides, and the rear. You can see those. It also has a hull points of 100 in this. That's after you get through the shields. As we scan down a little bit here, the weapon systems are here. We'll worry about those in a little while because only our gunner has to worry about those. But if our crew and our viewers can see where I am, if you scan down the page, there's a place where you can see Captain, Engineer, Pilot, Science Officer, Gunner, Chief Mate, and Magic Officer, and your names are in there. I have the Doctor under Chief Mate just to have a place to put him. But you can actually make your rolls from that spot. So, engineer, it also gives you a list of what you can do. So let's start with the engineer. If you click the engineer roll button, it will ask you a series of questions.
Target screen, do you choose a target? Oh, acting
So
character.
pick
Okay.
yourself out of the minis that are at the top, because it says who's doing this, right?
Starship.
And then click your starship, which is the Stingray.
Should I assume all the systems are at full currently?
Yes, for the purposes of the rolling. The rolling is all set up properly right now. That's the best part about doing this. I can change it on the ship, and it automatically does it. So.
Computer bonus.
And then it should give you
bonus,
a box. Computer bonus, you get +2 because 3 of you are getting assistance from the computer.
Okay.
So just put a 2 in there. And then the officer, unless the officer is going to help you, you probably don't need it. So your officer bonus would be 0. And then it asks for any further modifiers. Those are 0 as well for this roll. And then it should give you a table of the things you can do.
Yeah, I'm looking at the table, but it said yes or no to computers.
So yes, the computer is helping you. And yes, the officer is helping you. Sorry, I forgot they were yes, no, not +2. So your second 20 of the night, you're going to be that guy. So, and you choose to divert power to the engines, increasing the speed by 2 for this round. So now when the pilot goes, you can move 6 spaces instead of 4. Excellent. So that's our engineering turn. Yes.
For my 6th officer thing,
Yes.
do I have to
Which one
declare,
are you choosing?
Do I have to declare like right now, basically? Like
Exactly. Yeah, right at the start of each combat. So which would
Okay.
you like to be? You can't be a captain because 2 captains is a fatal plan, and there's only 1 piloting spot. So the other 3.
I'll go engineer,
Okay.
and I'll try and do a divert action.
Excellent. Okay, so yeah, you can do the same thing. Just click on engineer, click on your mini, and then the ship. It'll tell you.
Use computer bonus. I guess that's you can sometimes use that.
You can use that now because you get 3 around. So you guys aren't, this is only the second one. So.
Would the modifier be my character's modifier, or is that
no?
additional?
The modifier that's built in by picking the one. That's just if there's anything additional. So that just leave that as a 0.
Okay. And I'm going to divert shields.
Yep.
And
Redistribute the shields. You do so. Yeah.
Nice. So sorry, which direction was the enemy ship coming from?
You don't. You know that the energy release is essentially directly off the bow, so straight ahead of you.
Straight ahead of you. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna divert. I'll leave 5 shields in the aft.
Okay.
And I'm going to.
Great. The forwards to 25.
I'm thinking I might want to do
spread 'em around.
port and starboard as well.
Okay. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll go
Yeah, so you can change those, and it's working on the screen. I wasn't 100% sure of that, but yes, it's working. Excellent. So that's the second engineering position. So that's engineering done. Helm. We first need a piloting check. This is initiative. So click on piloting on the starship screen, on the starship
Okay.
itself. Yeah, right down at the bottom where it says pilot. And then it should ask you, click on the person, which is you. So click on your mini.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
it should ask you what ship. Click the ship. Are you
Initiative?
using computer bonus? Yes, and you're doing initiative. Exactly. You know what you're doing. I'll stop talking.
Yes. Modifiers too?
No, not in this case. No. You got the 2
Okay.
for the computer, so 13. Okay, so now I roll for the baddies. Nope. They go they rolled lower than you, so they are forced to move first. So let's and again, for anybody watching, they cannot see this. They cannot see what's happening out here. They can only see what's happening inside their sensor range. So they are forced to move first. It is now your turn to move, and anybody watching, that's what they can see at the moment. Pilot. The signal that you registered is coming from somewhere in this direction. If you see the ping.
Yes.
Okay, so you can move yourself up to 6 spaces in that direction, and each space you move, you can turn 1 hex if you wish. You should be able to just grab the ship and move it. If not, let me know.
All right. Because so everyone told me to go away from the big scary ship, correct?
Yes,
And the
but
ping is
then
where-
two fighters that are faster than you have just been set off to engage. And you
But the ping is
you
where
look
it
down at
came
your
from,
screen.
right?
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
And the doctor is firing up shields everybody seems to be getting ready to engage.
Oh,
Moose
great.
is drooling. So you can move up to 6 spaces, and yes, it seems to be that they want you to move towards this. Except for the science officer who wants to run.
Who I want to run too, because
I just
that
gave you
makes
2 more
sense.
seat. I didn't tell you what direction.
Well, the thing is, you would know that these interceptors are faster than you. You could run, but you're going to fight these two somewhere.
Okay.
I also recognize that. I just mean move away from the big thing
Yes.
in case
stop
they
moving
start sending
towards
out
it
more
at
little
least.
things.
Yes, that's fair. Yeah,
We should go look for survivors, is what we should be doing.
could do that as
Shut
well.
up.
There's always options.
Oh my god. 1, 2,
This is what
3,
happens when
4,
6 geniuses
5.
get poked in a tin
6.
can together. I love it.
Yeah.
Well, poor
Okay.
Moose is just gonna have a heart attack, and so's Rooshbar.
Let's see.
Check for
1,
survival.
2,
Shut up, Grayson.
3, 4, 5, 6. There we go.
Pilot, this is your choice. What are you
I
doing?
know. I moved.
Oh,
I tried.
It didn't move on here. You move 6 straight ahead.
I moved 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down.
Straight down.
Yeah.
6. All right, so to there.
Yeah.
Which is enough. Science officer, you no longer need to scan on your turn. You also go on the helm turn. This is also when the science officer goes. You can scan for the other one because you know there's 2. Or you can do your other things. Again, if you click science officer on the Stingray sheet, it will give you your options of what you can do. So you can scan a vessel, you can target a specific area on a vessel, so that the next time that ship is attacked, a 19 or 20 is a critical hit. And if it's a critical hit, it does damage to the specific system you targeted.
Okay, so I'm just going over this very quickly again.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's
For
you
anybody
click-
watching, this is the first time they've ever seen this, so give us a moment to figure it out.
So
We
I
are
click on
doing
the
live
science
tutorials.
So I click on science officer and crew.
Yep.
Then I click on the mini of me,
You'll say you and then your ship.
and then the ship, and then it says target other starship.
So the other one you can see, just click the one that you can see down there.
Yeah. I have a computer bonus.
Yes. I'll give everybody that because it's been another
And-
round. So
Use the sensors.
yes, that is your job as a science officer. That gives you another 4 to your roll.
Okay. And then I don't think I have a modifier.
No. No, the modifier is only if something weird happens. It's a really nice catch place to put them. But
So I can either target the system or improve countermeasures or lock on, scan, balance, all that stuff.
yeah, all these different things. Yeah.
Yeah.
Any
If
of those
I
that you don't know what they do, just let me know.
Okay. If I were to click improve countermeasures, would
Yeah.
that mean that it's for when we get shot at, we have a
It makes you
chance-
harder to hit. Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I know we have some people with itchy trigger fingers, so and we're gonna have to deal with them anyway, so let's just lock on.
Okay. Absolutely. So give me that roll for lock on, which will improve.
Yep.
Oh, all the 20s, just all the 20s tonight. Wow, +2 bonus, but that's a 20, so +4 to hit is what I'm going to give you. So we're finally going to use that modifier bonus when we get there. Is that all you're doing as the science officer in Helm? You got
I don't
us
think
got us into range of 1.
Can I do anything
Actually,
else?
no, yeah,
Wait.
you did this targeting instead of looking for the other ship. So yeah, that works.
It
Yeah.
is.
Happy now, Moose?
Huge
Miranda,
grid.
you look.
Wow.
Miranda or Sarah, one of the two of you looks really confused. I can't tell if you're acting or not.
No, it's Miranda.
Okay.
I'm just
All
waiting
right.
for another face from Scarred. That's literally what I'm waiting for. Another. Thank God.
Meanwhile, Moose,
Trigger
it's
happy.
right there.
God damn it.
It's going really quick, but you have been training your whole life.
He's way too
shot
ecstatic
ducks.
about this shit.
This is like shooting womp rats back in the swamp. You have to use the gunnery. The gunnery button on the sheet doesn't actually work for this. So
Yeah.
you need to use the gunnery at the bottom of the page. Only one of the weapons on the Stingray has this kind of range. It's the one that has long range.
Yeah.
One of your 2 forward-facing weapons. It is definitely in that arc of fire. So go ahead and use the gunnery macro that we built
Yeah.
and answer all the questions and hit that button.
It's computer bonus 2. So it's. Was it supposed to be a 4 for the 20?
Yes, yeah, yeah. For your when it asks you for your modifier, give it a put in 4. Yes.
Yeah, that's the computer bonus one. Yeah.
That's separate. The 4 that you
Okay.
got. Well, yeah, the
Yeah.
4 that you got is from the science officer
Okay.
locking on.
Okay. So separate. Officer bonus 4.
Officer.
Or because that's what it's asking. It says 2.
Officer bonus, yes.
default.
Yeah.
It's giving me
It's
numbers.
2. Okay, in that case,
Yeah.
2. Yeah, 2 for the officer, and then it should ask for a
Range-
modifier at the very
Yep.
very end. If it doesn't, we'll
Range
just add 4 to
modifier.
what you roll.
Yeah.
Yeah, put it in there. So yeah,
This is 2 by default.
it's actually
So-
-2. So change that to 4. No, change that to 0, and we're gonna add 4 to your roll just manually.
Okay.
Because that's actually a penalty for range. So you roll a 1.
Wow. That's
Oh,
about par for
man.
the course.
Okay.
You were so excited you slipped.
Oh, Nick, my
The
friend.
first shot,
11.
yeah, I'm afraid I need 11. The first
There's a
shot,
4, right?
unfortunately.
15.
that?
15.
Yeah, there's adding a 4 to that, so it is a 15. This is a very small, very fast fighter. You actually miss, and it blows by into space. We wrap around. It's not close enough to fire back. You know this thing can't fire at you until it gets within at least medium range.
God damn it, Moose. You said you were good at this.
Do we run now?
It's a bloody system.
So next move is engineering. What are you guys doing?
Oh,
You can see one of them now.
I will.
There's still another
divert-
one out there somewhere.
I will divert again.
Okay. To engines again. Keep your movement at full 6, or
Still divert. Keep computer bonus.
yes, yeah. You guys are only. This isn't. Only one of you cannot use it, and they can get the officer bonus. So you guys all get +2 one way or the other.
Oh, we will go see if we can help out weapons a little bit here.
Oh, yes, you certainly can. So now you can re-roll any ones. This next attack would have been handy 1 round ago.
We need to get here first.
In fact, in the interests of narrative, we are going to do this. You fire that first shot and you miss, and then you see your screen kind of judders, and it has reset. Fire again. We'll let you fire at a turn. I don't care. Let's tell a story.
So the range modifier should be.
Turn that back to 0. Yeah, and we'll add. We'll give you your +4 to the end roll again.
Oh, look at that. What is going on?
12 plus 4, 16. It still misses, I'm afraid. This is a very, or hang on a second. Let me check.
It said you down as a 2.
Yep.
As the captain, I'm gonna yell
that does
down to
miss.
the gunnery, "What's going on down there?"
So that's okay. It didn't count as an actual attack. So engineering, that was 1 engineering. The other engineering. So what? I'm still going to give you that +1 when we get around to gunnery again. This was just a narrative moment to try and take away the horror of rolling a 1 on your first shot, but you took the horror right back like you owned it. So second engineer, Doc, what are we doing?
I'm gonna divert power to the science officer. Is what I'm going to try.
Okay. So you start banging away on the computer, and again, you guys are seeing this ship come straight at you. There is nothing between you and it except your little console that you're typing in on. You're living in a 3-dimensional real space.
Whoever designed this, I hate you.
Wow. Somebody at least is getting all the rolls. So that gives the computer officer +2, which you can then use to give other people bonuses on your section of the turn. Beautiful. Speaking of which, that's our 2 engineers. Everybody's got bonuses all over the place now. Science officer and pilot. What are you guys doing? Science officer first, I think, just in case you're going to target again.
I am going to.
He just keeps hitting the big red flee button on the middle of his screen. It's not working. This button's broken.
Yes, use the sensors.
Yep.
Modifier of 2.
Modifier of 0.
0, and then we add 2. Okay.
That
Balance.
modifier is actually, it will be applied as a negative for range.
Okay.
So yeah.
Improve
that number
countermeasures.
Okay, that works.
Goddamn shooty
31,
people.
yep.
Can't do crap.
So when they shoot, they have to essentially take disadvantage. Perfect. So, Helm, what are you doing? This thing is closing at you in a hurry.
Can I run now?
If you and it move full speed, you will go right past each other. So, you can move 6 spaces again. Oh, no, this turn, you were were engines given power this turn? No, it was shield. So, you can move 4 spaces this turn.
Okay, so 1, 2.
Why is it not letting you drag that? You should be able to move it.
There we go.
Okay, there it did.
Yes!
Yay! Yes, and would you like to turn at all?
I can, right?
Actually,
Maybe?
right now, you have that target exactly on that magic line, where it is both on the front and side arcs. So either weapon can be fired. You're also just into medium range, so even the shorter range weapons will now be fireable.
Moose, don't mess this up!
Speaking of which, Moose.
Shut up! I'm trying to concentrate.
I'm
I'm trying to concentrate and miss.
As the captain, I would
Yep.
like to go down to the gunnery
Yep.
and give him the most intense "don't fuck this up" stare I can give him.
So you're going to go for the full +4? Okay.
Yeah.
So on the Stingray sheet, click the captain button.
All right. bring that up.
One of the options will be there's encourage, and then there's what's the other one? It means shout at. I've changed it narratively, but hit the one that says shout at him because that's the one that's it's harder to do, but it gives you +4.
I think that one's mine.
It's the 2 choices in this game. You can walk up to somebody and say, you know, you're really talented, and give them +2. Or you can walk up to them and say, work harder, you shit, and give them +4. But it's harder to do. So I've changed that slightly.
Just like real life.
So what am I doing?
So when you click on Captain, what are your options? It says pick you, right?
Encourage, demand, taunt, orders, move.
Demand. Use demand. Yeah.
Demand.
Okay.
That's not what you're doing, but that's the function that works. So
I like
no
taunt,
computer
though.
bonus, right?
no computer bonus, no.
Modifiers, no.
Nope.
I don't think it matters.
Good grief. Well, I mean, chat's not going to buy you guys anything. You're rolling all the 20s you need yourselves. So you add +4 to this gunnery shot. So, with that, Gunner steps up. Go ahead and give me a gunnery check. With plus, we'll just add the +4 again. Your modifier is 0, range is 0.
Just +4,
and add
or is it
+4
any
what you
more
roll.
than 4 because of a natural 20?
Yeah, you're right. We'll give him a whole bunch more. Let's see what he rolls, and we'll see how much we have to add.
He also has extra power. Oh my
He
god.
rolled a
Holy
nat
Well-
20 himself. Okay.
While locking
Wow.
eyes with the captain, I return
Yeah,
the
just
gaze
look
with
up.
the "I will punch you in the mouth" kind of look and press the button.
Okay.
Is this a looking
just-
at the console while you're firing thing, or just kind
Nope.
of a,
Just to
No,
so
this
just
is not
to
looking
show
at the
how it
console.
works. I have a story to tell, but just to show us how it works, go ahead and give me that damage roll for the range up. You can actually fire the shorter one now. You can fire any one of those weapon systems you
how
want.
many?
3d6, I think, is your damage because the damage asks, how many is how many dice. So roll 3, and then what kind is 6. We're gonna double it, and then we're gonna do a real effect here. So 11. Wow. Okay. So yeah, the your shot, because it's a crit, slams into it. You see the shield just part, and you see that shot bury into the body of the interceptor, and there's just a little, very insignificant little spark of blue light. But you know what happened. You just hit the cockpit. And the ship just starts to tumble. This one's done.
tumble or just float there helplessly?
Its momentum is still continuing.
Okay.
So yeah, it is tumbling. And no, that's not how that. Any Starfinder fans watching, no, I didn't follow the rules there, but that was a 20, and it deserves one of those. So, as that happens, the other ship appears in the edge of your sensor range. Engineering, it is well off to your port flank. What are you doing?
I know I'm
Either one of
diverting.
you. Yeah.
No, I'm going to divert power again.
Okay.
But
So start that
debating
process, and then you can figure out where it's going to go, and start
Whether or
that.
not-
The other engineer.
I would like to switch into a science officer position for this turn.
Okay. Absolutely. So at the start of, as soon as we get to the helm turn, you can do a science officer thing there. Perfect. I like this. So that's our engineering, which takes us to science officers. 2 science officers. What are you guys doing before the ship moves?
The real science officer can go.
Are we targeting or are we running away? Tell me what you want to do.
Capitan.
Captain!
+2. They're right there. You can reach out and touch
I
their
run
knee.
back up from the gunnery like, what?
Yes.
What now?
What are we doing? Are we fighting or are we running away? This is your call.
Well, these things can outspeed us, so I imagine all we can do is fight.
Cool, let's intercept and shoot him in the face.
Okay, so what are you trying to do? Target or
I'm gonna click I'm gonna do everything I can for targeting.
okay, try and target it.
Yeah,
Go right
I'll
ahead.
swing it.
And then second science officer.
I'm going to scan it, and I'm going to try and scan its defenses.
Okay, go right ahead and do that. Excellent. As you do so, pilot, it is
Is it
off to
lock
your
on?
port side. Yes, lock on to give it an advantage on the shot. Yes.
Yeah, it's not target system.
No, that allows you. Target system means that you say engines, and it increases the chance of a critical. So it crits on a 19 or a 20.
Oh,
And
okay.
if it crits, that crit automatically hits the engines.
Okay.
And are you turning the facing of the ship as well?
Ooh.
You can do that
That
by
was a
clicking on the token.
19.
There's a little tab that sticks off one side, and you can
Yep.
rotate it.
I saw it.
Okay, so you're turning all the way around the other way. Oh, you did. Did you just do a maneuver?
No.
No, you just turned around.
I-
Okay, 'cause
yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that works. Yeah,
Oh!
absolutely. Yeah.
I forgot.
No, it's okay. What are you doing? Go ahead.
Are we?
It's the
Are we
first
still
episode. Go ahead.
So
Fix it.
she turns the ship around and goes towards it because it helped last time.
Yep, absolutely. So you swing the ship around in a large looping arc. This time, gunnery, you are now only able to fire the starboard weapons. But that's okay. It is right at the end of limit, but this gives us a chance to fire these. This is essentially a shotgun. This blasts everything in this case, starboard arc, and does damage to all of it if it hits. So in this case, there is only one target there, but you can fire that side weapon. And what you learn about this ship's defenses, it is very, well, you learn a number of things. Hull points is 35. It has 40 shields, so 10 in each arc. It has a weapon system which only works at short range. It does have a long range weapon, which you assume must not be active because it would have fired it by now.
I passed the information on to people.
Perfect.
So they're
And
just
then-
stupid.
And then that brings us, that's the science officer and the helm. So firing, go ahead and fire that weapon. So go make a gunnery roll. It's the same roll. You do get the +2. You do not have +2 from the captain this time. So just +2 for the computer.
Computer, 0 officer, 0 range, or
0 range. Yeah, you're in medium range, which is no penalty. The only time you have a penalty is if you're in long range. 26. That's more like it. So roll damage on that particular equipment, which is 2d6. And normally this moves 5 spaces per turn, but it's only got 5 spaces to move this turn, so it's going to impact this round. That's not so great. Okay, so it slams into the front of that ship and does some damage to the shields. But you can see that that's all it's actually done. As we swing around again, engineering.
We're going to be fighting on this side. I'm going to try to reshuffle some shields because it looks like we're not going to be using our left too much.
Absolutely. So you can start moving shields from side to side. Other science officer? Or sorry, no, we don't have a second engineer right now. Sorry, never mind. That's the engineer going. Now we slide over to science officers and helm. As this happens, you guys look up for a split second and you see the other shuttles have all pretty much docked. They're starting to dock with the big destroyer. And as they do, they dock for a couple minutes and then you see the shuttle just disconnect and float away. They're just kicking the it's like throwing out empties. Once the people are inside the destroyer, they're throwing the shuttles away so that the next one can come up and dock.
I glare at that.
Oh, unfortunately, unable in this turn to do anything with the shields. First failure. My God. Sorry,
Are
second
you
science
talk-
officer was
are you
doing what
talking
then?
about the misses?
Going to scan the ship this time for its basic information, which includes its speed, classification, maneuverability, things like that. Just knowing how fast it
Absolutely.
can go.
Yep. while we're doing that. Pilot. You saw the hit, but it was right out at the edge of what he can do with this weapon. You also noticed that the front weapon did a lot more damage.
So I'm gonna take a turn to turn this time. Wait.
Yep.
Okay. Or do I need to turn again?
You just you've turned once, so you can move a space now and then turn again.
Okay, so move a little closer.
Yeah.
And then turn.
Turn to face the direction that you just moved.
Okay.
So, yeah, there you go. That works. So, science officer, you discover it is a fighter class ship. Everybody just moved. That's okay. We're going to leave it like it is right now. This is a fighter class ship. It has a speed of 5, so it can outrun you in your current condition. If you boosted the energy every round, you could outrun it if you got it up to 6. Other than that, it has, like all fighter class, perfect maneuverability, and it can just barely drift. It can just barely travel through the drift.
Okay. Same thing. I read this out as I'm detecting it. Basically.
Absolutely. I mean, you can actually send it to the heads up. This room, this virtual room that you're in, you can actually put heads up displays in places where no matter where everybody's looking, it's like they've got a heads up display. So you just keep inputting this information. So there's a reticle around this target, and information just keeps building up beside it as you learn more. So everybody that looks can see that. You guys are going to be in all the wrong spots right now on Twitch, and I'm not going to stop right now to finish that. So to fix that. So the helm drives forward. It's all good. It's not your fault. The helm drives you forward close to the enemy ship, which is turning around to flee. Let's have another shot. Sorry?
I'm going to lock on to the thing because I haven't.
Okay. Oh, yes. You were going to try and do lock on. Yes. Go right ahead.
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, it's absolutely. So that's a +2. So give us our gunnery roll with +2.
That with the officer bonus? Or
no
would it
officer
be
bonus,
no?
but you can have a computer
0.
bonus. Yeah.
Okay.
So a computer bonus of 2.
What the?
Okay. It's my channel. I just bought you a reroll. I will give myself 200 bits after the show. I promise. Give me a reroll.
The doctor's just like, we
Not
should
too
just
many
let them
ones.
go. Just let them go.
Yeah,
They're running.
just let them flee. That still misses, man. That still
with
misses.
a 15?
13 plus 2, 15. Yes, these things have they technically they have an AC of 19 against ballistic weapons, but oh my god, because they're so small and fast.
Throw a digital D20 out the window.
That's the problem with the digital ones.
Yeah.
That would be that's all you can do is change colors. So you fire that round, and it misses again. At this point, that interceptor, you see it, the equivalent of space afterburners comes on, and it just fades. There's no way you're keeping up with it. You see the destroyer in the distance. The last of the shuttles disconnect, and it starts to develop this sort of halo around it. You recognize what's happening. It's about to drift.
Are we in the way?
No. When you drift,
okay.
you simply cease to be here and you start to be somewhere else. And actually, pardon me, I need to retcon that. They do not start to drift. The major physical thrusters on the back of the destroyer start to fire up. She's starting to make way, but wherever she's going is still in this system. She's not drifting. I did it again. I said I wasn't going to call her she. It, the destroyer, is not. It's just sitting there gathering all these shuttles to it.
Can we follow it?
You absolutely can.
What?
Can we swing by the ship that we put out to see if we can get anything off of it before we run after a ship that could destroy us in seconds?
While
Isn't
it's
the
still
base
just in
destroyed?
your range, the wreckage you see heading by. Give me a computer check.
That-
Sorry, Captain?
I misunderstood. It's fine.
Okay. Well, if you misunderstood, then tell me what you were going to do once you did understood.
I wanted to try and. I mean, obviously, we can try and salvage the
Yep.
ship we destroyed, but also we
Yes.
should maybe figure out where this other ship might be going.
Okay, say that for me again, but say it really cocky. I want you to do
Okay.
this. I want you to do this like your character.
Okay. Here we go. I'm all for salvaging the ship that we destroyed. But maybe we should also figure out where the other ship's going.
I mean, well, I mean, judging by the angle of the angle at which it's moving through the system and everything like that, and
Yep.
considering
You
current star
don't even
patterns,
need to make a check. This is basic trigonometry. It is heading to a
Considering
planet
basic-
called Laviana,
it's going to
which
a
you
place
guys know
called-
is a luxury planet.
Oh, good. Good.
So we got attacked by rich people. Cool.
Did I get anything else from the interceptor?
As you are looking at that interceptor, the 13, it's a very standard model, but it's about 30 years old. The style, it's not current. You look up at the destroyer, it's not new either.
Pirates.
Do I
So it's not rich
maybe
people.
recognize this ship?
They're going to attack the rich people, probably.
More than likely.
Everybody give me a... Oh, what stat do I want you guys to roll? I don't know. Let me look at a sheet and see what you've got.
No, we do.
Maybe culture.
Culture, exactly. That is exactly what we want. A culture check.
Boom.
Nice.
All the 20s. Just all the 20s.
Hold on.
And my favorite kind of 20, the dirty 20. Wow.
I'm gonna re-roll that.
You can once per day, yeah. So 13. So as the sunlight from the nearby star
Oh.
lights up the side, lights up the side of this destroyer class starship, you see a military logo that has not been seen in 30 years. This was a person called the Despot. That's all he was ever called. He took over a fairly considerable portion of this part of the universe about 30 years ago, and was only defeated when all the Pact Worlds came together and worked together to defeat this person. They were sent away. They were sent to a far distant planet where they were trapped and guarded, but apparently they've escaped. You also
That's
see the
not
name of the
good.
destroyer in fresh paint, the only fresh paint on the entire ship. It says Vengeful Return.
Damn it.
So, 30 years is before my time, but sounds like we're screwed.
So
I have, like,
this
is this the kind of person that, like, maybe my family would have been afraid of?
This is the kind of person that everybody's family was afraid of. If it can be tied to a certain event in human history, and it is, one might think of Napoleon coming back from Elba. It's like that.
Okay. So perhaps tales of this person would have been
Oh, you know
shared.
all about this person. This makes you, at your most sociopathic, look like a charming, unicorn-friendly paladin of light.
Oh, good.
This is a bastard. This is a megalomaniac who wants to take over the entire known universe for their own personal gain.
So
the-
normally I don't think of things as problems, just challenges. I'm saying this to the group.
Yeah.
But This is a big ass problem.
And we have a broken, well, mostly functional, but still somewhat broken experimental starship.
Now that you've got time, you're sort of running through systems, and there's lots of little things that are messed up. There's a lot of things that could go really wrong with this ship in a hurry. Science officer, you're finding the same thing. The programming, some of the programming is just like placeholders. It says, insert program here, and that's all that's there right now.
Oh god, I'm gonna
Pilot,
be up
you
for a
start
long
looking.
time.
You're going to have to fly manually. There's no autopilot. All that sort of stuff
Question.
is not up and running yet.
Oh, yeah.
Captain, the connection from your chair to the other systems in the room is not as good as it should be, so it's a good thing you leapt down out of your chair to go and help the gunner. In retrospect, looking at your chair, it might not have worked from there.
Oof.
That's going to need to get fixed.
The doctor
Gunner
is just
system,
like-
you've got those two guns that need to be tied together. Go ahead.
The doctor's just like, I'm gonna go and check out the med bay and see what kind of shape it's in. Just let me know if things start exploding again, and I'll come running
Yeah.
back.
Real quick,
It's a small
can I
ship.
get a
You s-
band-aid for the cut that I got when
Yeah,
the
it's
base
just a bruise.
malfunctioned?
Like it's just a bruise. In fact, it recovers in very short order, like sort of half an hour to an hour. That's recovered. So
Okay,
go ahead and
good.
put that back on your sheet. Doc, you get to the med bay and you look in, and there's the wall of medication behind the plexiglass, the steel glass. And at first you're like, oh, thank God. And then you realize a lot of them are just cardboard sort of replacements.
Ooh.
You've basically got what's in your kit, plus at least the auto surgeon is working. So it can assist you to do any major injuries, but there's zero medication except what's in your kit. Now, having said that, there's a ton in your kit.
I'm gonna head to the R&D lab.
Mm-hmm. Yes. You get in there. Things are a little better here. At least the libraries are all in place. So all the information is there. What's not so great here is the storage retrieval system, the sort of the UI. It's not an easy interface. So the information is all there, but it's going to take some time to find anything, unless you build some architecture to fix that.
I want to try to activate and sort of interface with the ship's AI.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So as you guys are all sort of coming to terms with exactly what's wrong with this ship, and I will provide each of you with a specific list that is tailored to what your character would find out. As you do that, call the AI.
Ring ring banana phone.
I was like,
I'm gonna go check out the hallway while you're talking to them. I might just listen in though.
And as just before
I'll
you
stay
start,
with Sandra.
I'm
just
gonna. Is
before
there
you start,
a? Is
the
there
two
like
that
a,
are on the bridge, you guys are the only ones that still get this full effect. As each one of you other ones step off the bridge, you're back into physical ship. It's kind of a jar as you step through the door because you're not in that infinite space bubble anymore. Captain, what are you doing?
It's gonna be like AI activate.
Hello, and welcome to the Stingray. How may I be of assistance?
You know, it's been a rough 30 minutes.
I am not programmed as a therapist.
Oh, I wasn't asking for that. No, we the Steels take their feelings and shove them down. Anyway,
The ship is reporting multiple failures.
yeah, we just had a fight, and also our ship was not ready when we took it. So, what can we do about that?
I have conflicting information. I have both reports of failures and also reports of tests having been made and those failures not being there. The data is corrupted.
Can you run a new systems check?
It will take me only a moment. And everybody's screen kind of flickers for a second. Anybody that's looking at a screen, it kind of flickers for a second and comes back. Considerable damage. Correction. Considerable incompletions have led to some difficulties with the operation of the ship. I shall provide you with a complete list at my earliest convenience.
That was what I was about to ask for. Need a comprehensive list of everything that needs improvement or just plain installment. And
Do you wish us to follow the destroyer?
yes.
Nope, 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 nope.
You're down the hall. There's only 2 of them on the bridge right now. You're in R&D.
I know. I
How
just wish I
about
could run down suddenly. Here it is.
I know you're the captain, quote unquote, but I really don't think that's a
Sorry,
good
put
idea.
Quotes around your power.
It is not a good idea to go after that thing.
Oh, we're not going after it. We're just keeping tabs on it.
So that we go where it's not?
So that once people who are in charge of things contact us again, we can tell them what happened and who happened and where said happener is.
I'm not sure you understand. They're gone.
Well, we know where
She
they're going.
points-
No,
She turns you and points back at the space station.
they're gone.
There's
I think we're
one
all that's
shard.
left.
Did you not see all of the shuttles that escaped?
They're obviously enemies.
No, the ones that went to the ship were enemies.
There were 50 or 60 other ones that went to nearby planets, yes.
Do you think they're able to help us though? If they're going to another planet, we're the only ship that escaped.
Okay, fine. What would you suggest that we do?
At the moment, run. If this is really who we think it is from history, from our history books, we don't stand a chance. We're ants compared to him. You're expecting us to be able to take on that?
No, of course not. I never. No.
Then why follow? Then why follow?
To get information. Information is key. Information gets things done.
I'm just gonna get up and leave.
That's right, you are still sitting here, right? Yeah, you didn't go anywhere.
Bruce, please help me talk some sense into her.
Just look back and go. I just shake my head and walk out.
Oh, come now.
This idiot.
Don't feel like that.
We're going after this idiot. We're going after him. And at that point, Miranda's just going to leave, repeating, we're going after him. I can't fucking believe we're going to go after him.
We're doing what now?
Excuse me.
As you have that conversation, you guys are what? Back on the bridge, now all alone in the chair, having made the decision, you hear the voice of the ship. I am unable to make contact with any branch of the Astari Nomos Academia or Astari Nomos Dynami. We appear to be entirely on our own.
I smirk and I say, this is going to be fun.
And right there, we're going to cut away as everyone tries to find all the things that are wrong with this ship and tries to process what just happened. The fact that half an hour ago, you were students, and now you might be the only thing in the universe standing between the greatest despot of all time and his domination. Meanwhile,
I promote myself
far,
to commander.
far away.
Please, because she's obviously going to get us killed. child.
Far, far away, two figures start a conversation. An old man shakes another old man out of his sleep in the bunk in a shitty dive of a hostel on a crusty, leaky old space station. He fucking did it, Albert. He's off Helena and headed for the Pact Worlds. Get up. We're gonna have to beat that little fucker again. This time, I aim to kill him. Albert, the man that he's shaking, rolls over and sighs. He groans as he sits up. He's even older than the first man, but much, much larger. One eye is a bright green. The other looks like a mantis eye. It's that multicellular green, but when he looks around, there's sort of a black pupil that moves behind it. And he looks up at his captain, shakes his head. All right, Captain Larkin, I'll get the others. And that's where we're going to drop the curtain on this evening. We actually went slightly less than 2 hours tonight. I thought we would go slightly more, but this worked out. We are on our way. So, thank you to everybody that watched. Thank you to everybody that was here. I want to do a real quick thing before we sign off, though. And I didn't tell these guys I was going to do this. This is a complete shock. I want to go around the room here, and I want everybody to tell me what their favorite or most defining moment was tonight. Doesn't have to be you. Doesn't have to be anybody else. It can be you. Let's start with Roospar. You didn't get to do a lot tonight, man, and when you did, you missed. So what was your big moment?
Shot on me.
Headshot.
The one shot after the misses?
Yeah. I don't know. I'm kind of all over the place right now. It's
Yeah. So, okay, second part of the question then, where is Moose right now? What is his plan, if he has one?
I'd have to say right now Moose is very concerned for his continued survival in this situation.
Fair enough.
He's
All
shaking.
right.
The head shake was this is a fucking shit show kind of shake.
Well, Moose is from a military background. We know
Yeah.
that, right? So he's used to strict hierarchies and orders of command, right? So yeah,
Yeah.
this is gonna be a bit much for him for sure.
Mm.
Let's skip over to Frederick, the engineer. First of all, what was Nick's favorite moment of the night?
All right, if I'd say my favorite moment, it was the shooting just kind of being hit or miss, literally.
Yeah.
It's either it's hit and dead, or the
Yep.
thing didn't hit.
And to be fair, that is not how Starfinder works. You guys did not one-shot that first ship, even though it was a critical, but for story purposes, it worked. So, and then where's Frederick's headspace right now?
Probably especially hearing reports kind of from all across that there are, missing parts of programs. There's UI just straight up missing. He's used to dealing with the very fine details, but it's this whole, he's unsure how he feels about everybody possibly having to kind of put together their own thing.
Right.
And he's concerned that if anything goes slightly wrong, that it's going to actually destroy the whole ship. So it's kind of, he's like, I'm either going to have to figure out how to get to trust other people.
Yep.
Which is already a stretch.
Yep.
And even more
Love where
trust
these characters
potentially
are
other
going.
people's programs.
Yeah.
Which is even more scary.
Uh-huh.
And
I love it.
I gotta be
I can't fix this all myself. Ah!
Oh, gosh. Yeah. That's probably the closest approximation is he realizes he can't do it on his own, although he would probably prefer it that way.
Yeah, if you had 6 months, that'd be fine, but you don't. So, Saga. I wanted to know next. First of all, I want to know Wayward's favorite moment.
Well, Wayward's favorite moment is probably the moment where Miranda leaves going, we're gonna follow him, and then Simon goes, we're what?
Excellent. And where, sitting all by herself alone on the bridge, where is Saga's head right now?
Saga used to eat this kind of stuff for breakfast, but I think she is unaware that she's maybe in over her head.
No.
Just a little.
So I didn't have an entirely clear idea of how I was going to play Saga at the start of this, but I think she kind of fell into this area that's going to provide
Yeah, this takes time, man. You can't expect this to, I mean, these are improv characters that just got started. I mean, this is, people don't often see, this was kind of in some session, in some way, session zero. These characters have never been out for a walk before. So it's going to take us a while to get into them, and that's perfectly okay. That's part of the fun to me.
I think another part of the headspace is that Saga joined the academy to hide, but her first outing
this is
immediately
kind of the opposite of hiding. Yeah, absolutely. So we're gonna skip on then to Scarred, out of character. Favorite moment. And it's okay to be yours.
Yeah,
you had some good ones tonight.
I weirdly did. I think I just enjoyed being able to play the sarcastic ass. I think that was a big part of everything that I was quite fond of.
Yep. There's two sarcastic asses on this ship that are gonna get in. They're gonna start competing pretty soon. I can feel it. So,
for sarcasm,
at least two. You and Moose at least, and the captain probably.
Oh yeah, no. I think my favorite part was going to be the planning behind everyone's back. Let's do this from Wayward.
Yep. And then where's Simon's headspace right now?
Simon has kind of given up on doing a headspace and is just he's already rolled up his sleeves. He's coding at the same time. He's also he's in the R&D lab. He's doing some coding at the same time. He's going behind some stuff, ripping out wires, attaching them to other things to make them function semi well. He's already in the process of jury rigging. Yeah, and he's going, nobody else does any goddamn work on this ship except for me. God damn it, everyone talking. Shouldn't what? What were you talking? Okay, no, fine.
Put the wrench down. I need to go stop an invasion. Oh my god.
Yeah. If he knew what the conversation that just went on, he would probably be going in the headspace of, mutinies, how to plan.
So we'll leave that thought for next week. Good. Get a
he
mutiny started.
He did hear Miranda saying, we're going after him.
Oh yeah. Yep. Absolutely.
Yes.
The doctor.
He doesn't know
this should be interesting because like I said, I've never played with you, Barsden, before. So, what was your favorite moment? And it's okay to say none of them. I don't enjoy the way you play. That's perfectly acceptable.
I'm a kind of a sucker for chase sequences, so I like the beginning when we were going through like the exploding ship. Seemed kind of exciting. There's a bit of like chance of some damage and us like running through that all. I like that part.
Yeah. I can't kill you in the first episode, but I can hopefully show you that I will try and kill you later. So and then where's the doc's head right now? Yeah.
He is suddenly rethinking his idea of it being a good idea to go into space. He was looking forward to it. It's kind of his whole goal was he was willing to come here because it was one of the easiest ways to get into space. Now that he's here, he's not liking it very much. There's lots of explosions and violent people and strangely sarcastic people, and yeah, he's
It's
he's
gonna
a
be
little
a tough place to keep that old Hippocratic oath in order. I think maybe.
yeah, he's a little concerned that we didn't go back for survivors and we're instead following this giant ship that apparently has like a warlord on it. So
Oh,
Yep.
later on, you're going to be handed a pistol and going, but I promise not to do any harm. Dude, it's him or 1,000 people.
no,
It's
that's why the
Cloudy's
doc has
problem.
his trusty trank gun on him.
Yes, that's enough of that.
Get a
Some
hold of
people have to
yourself.
drink. I have this.
Yeah. Get a little bit of an addiction going.
I
But
just
yeah.
imagine just belt.
Just abusing the morphine in the med bay.
Oh.
It's not
But
addictive.
yeah.
I'd use it because I choose to.
So he'd be de-stressing while working with some of the plants in his botany lab. Just trying to
Absolutely,
keep
yeah.
his mind off of the craziness that he just experienced, and like probably he's a little bit amped up and kind of stressed, so
Yeah.
he's just trying to center himself
yeah.
and try and take things as they come, more or less, because that's what he's had to do so far.
Yeah, I mean, this morning you were a student, right? So
Yeah.
Speaking of which, Miranda, I've been saving this one for last because you had some of the Miranda had some of the biggest, hugest reactions tonight. So, first of
Yeah.
all, Sarah, favorite moment.
When Scar just gave me the side eye because I was following orders.
Yep. Perfect.
Like
And
I was
then-
not expecting it at all, and just all of a sudden I just look and its face. I was like, oh my god, okay.
Well, yeah, if you want to role play, just go get Scarred involved in a scene. He'll play with you all day long.
Yeah.
That's why he's here. So back in character, what's Miranda? Where's her space right now? And you said it yourself
She-
tonight. It got real tonight, right? It got real for Miranda for the first time.
Oh yeah. She's probably still very much in shock. And the fact that we're going after the person that just did this is not helping. So she's probably somewhere where she's found like a library with books, just like in her own little happy place. Like, I just need my happy place at the moment.
Dude, get out of the R&D lab. I need this space. The books are here. Yeah, I know. Just take some and go.
So
Just books.
my favorite moment from tonight was how quickly you guys fell into these characters and how quickly you started to fight with each other and interact like real, incredibly talented human beings, all sort of vying for the alpha position would do. It's fully believable. I bought it all. The uncomfortableness that went with that was right there as well. I really enjoyed all of it. Favorite scene is tough. Probably where what? Is probably the line that caught my attention the most right at the end there. So I enjoyed that very, very much. With that, though, I think I get to do my favorite part, and I get to do it 8 times tonight. 8 times I get to say thank you. First, to every one of you guys, Wayward, thank you so much. I had so much fun. Saga is going to be a blast. You just need to get bold. You just need to get in her head and get real bold. Nick, I'm loving where Frederick's going. I've seen you in another character, and he's not the same, and I'm very happy to see that. Thank you very much for coming and joining this game. Roospar, oh man, ones and ones. I know how you feel. That's how my first Starfinder game started like this. So yeah, have a think of what happens next. But thank you very, very much for showing up and playing with me. Scarred, oh man, you are, I mean, you know it. That video, Dark Bastard, was inspired partly by you. There's a reason you're here. And I'm really, really happy to see you not playing a miserable prick. This sarcastic prick is a much nicer character.
I thought for a while how I wanted to play the character and how to make sure that it was different from the other two.
Oh, it's perfect. You're arrogant. You're just graduating top 6 out of 1,000, so it made perfect sense.
Yeah. I
Barsden,
almost went
thank you
Vivago,
for
but
coming
yeah.
in blind. I mean, you came in on Nick's recommendation, and none of us had ever met you before. Thank you so much for joining with us. I really like this doctor. I got this feeling he's going to be the sort of the um, the anchor that the rest of these people need to kind of hold them in place. So
I
you're
want
the
to try and
perfect
play
person
the
to have that
everyman.
sixth officer position, and the doctor, excellent. I'm loving it. Thank you so much.
Thanks for DMing.
Oh, no problem at all. I love this stuff. And Sarah, thank you. I know you're still relatively new to role playing in all its many and various forms. And I know you've never played Starfinder before this. And I appreciate your and everybody else's bravery for coming in here tonight and doing this. Remind everybody again, none of them had ever played Starfinder before. I think one of them's played Pathfinder before, and I've only ever played Starfinder and never run it before. So this was all new for almost all of us. Thank you all for joining us, and we're gonna get out of here. So for the just to end the night, please until next week, be nice to each other. Bye.